Hey guys, how's it going? Back with another tank update. I'm gonna do it a little differently today. Instead of just going through the tank and speaking to the corals, I want to talk to you about what I do to my tank and what I tried just this past week and a half to my tank to go on kind of like a vacation mode. So 3 things I'm trying to meet, get the lights to take care of themselves, the water level evaporation to take care of itself, and the fish to be fed by themselves. And what I did for that, I'm running the Vipar Spectra as their, automated lights. I'll get into that in details in just a moment. But more importantly here, the automatic fish feeder that I've had for quite a while, I just never bothered using it, has been the Eheim. So this thing's pretty neat. You kind of just manually adjust how much you want to come out of the hole, and it just spins once every so often, however you set it. So it's digitally set. It's got 4 settings, up to four feeding times per day, and each time you can choose 1 or 2 dispenses of food, set it a minute apart. But that's been really reliable. This is the same set of batteries I've had for well over since pretty much I got in the hobby of saltwater. So if you've been watching my videos from the start, this is the same set of batteries, and it's been spinning by itself. I just haven't used it till just this past week. So about the lights, Vipar Spectras are doing good. Got the whites that come on and off by themselves. They're programmed in the boxes, and same thing with the blue channel. But I do have them plugged up a little differently here to my power outlets. So I have the lights on their own power outlet just because I don't want to overload one. Whether it actually gets overloaded or not, I don't know. But if one goes out, at least I have the light, and vice versa. But for the auto top off, I have made sure that the auto top off and the return pump from my sump both plug into the same power source. Because if the power source goes out, I don't want my auto top off to be working, but my sump not work. So then that causes an potential overflow, or vice versa. If my my sump works but my auto top off loses power, then I'm going to be running a dry return sump, and that's just going to burn out the motor or maybe start an electrical fire. That's just something I want to avoid. So that's why I did that. All the pumps are on one. For the auto top off, I'm using a $30 or $40 top off that you can find online. It's just a small pump. It looks like a little smaller than a 10-gallon pump, but that runs into its own power supply here. That's what you're seeing here. And then for the chamber, of course, I'm just using the 5-gallon bucket, fresh water. This is about as much water that's evaporated from my tank over the last week. So it's not too bad. And this is, the tank that I'm showing you is exactly how it was when I came back from my vacation, which was just now. So I didn't really clean the glass or anything for you guys. But continuing with the auto top off, I have my sump set here where my water level likes to be at the top of this tape. What I used to do is just over flood it with fresh water, and then the salinity drops back down over time, and it could usually go about 3 days or so with that. But what I did this time around was put the auto top off here, and I actually removed the return piping that used to carry the fresh water to the auto top off sensor here, and put it in a different spot. Because I have now the sump on the floor at the same level as my extra water container, the water used to be shut, or the pump used to shut off, but the water used to be siphoned out of my overflow, or my my extra water, and it used to cause a flood in my sump, which I never let it get that bad. But I was itching my head for a couple weeks trying to figure out how the heck am I going to do this. And then it dawned on me that, just put the sensor down in the sump, and you can still put the return feed line from the auto top off into your tank. So I just ran it up top, and if you want to just, hot glue it out to the side, or in my case what I did, I just kind of snuck it inside of the overflow pipe, and then, tested it to make sure it doesn't siphon. And I tested it a couple times, and sure enough, it didn't siphon. So I held it there with the glass that I need to be using for the auto feeder anyways. And this is pretty good. It's got a weight on it, so it's not really gonna, you got to do a lot to make this thing fall over. So I wasn't worried about that. So that's my lights. The Vipar Spectras are doing well. The auto feeder is by the Eheim, and then the auto top off, I'm not sure what it was called. When I find the box, I'll let you guys know. But that's everything. You know, the tank is doing good. I didn't scrub the glass, like I said. I intentionally overfed a bit. I did one channel or one cycle of feeding for 2 feeds 1 minute apart, which is how the thing is set. You know, I got a couple green hair algae here and there, just specks, but a whole lot better than what I had, you know, a couple weeks ago. So that's improving. I'm happy with that. As for the bleaching, I don't recall if I uploaded that last video or not. If not, I will upload it and order it correctly for you guys to watch. But bleaching really kind of is at a standstill. You know, it stopped. It's not that bad anymore. I think this is the frog spawn. It's pretty much gone. It's got nothing growing on it. But my hammer, or maybe this is a frog spawn. I don't know. It's got heads growing on it, so I didn't really want to take it out. So we'll see what those grow into. My bird's nest, which actually fell on the floor and caused it to kind of die and bleach out, is bleached, but you know, it's still got some brown heads on it. I'm going to let that bounce back and see how that goes. For the other SPS down here, they actually, you know, got little spots of it, but these guys kind of bounce back. You know, we got little specks of bubble on the lantern that I don't know what they are, but they've been there for about well over 2 weeks now. So, you know, I'm just gonna leave it as is. It's pretty interesting how the feather dusters that you see on the side have grown in number. The zoas at the back, they're still bleached, but you know, they're alive and moving. And there's actually a surprise mushroom that just found its way into the bottom of my tank over there. I don't know how it got from there or there from all the way over here. So these LPS are doing fine. The SPS up top here, you know, once it's bleached. Unless there's some color there, it's going to be irreversible in my opinion. And to bounce back like this guy and this acan here, it's going to be a while. They're a little bleached, but they still got color to them. The feather dusters here are doing great. And this rock's got some interesting mushrooms on it that I didn't know I had in my tank, and I didn't know what these were when they were growing. So this should be pretty cool to figure out. If you know what it's called, give a little shout out on the bottom. But outside of that, everything else is fine. You know, the zoas are all doing fine. The Rasa zoas are okay. Pretty much only the SPS were affected by that overkill in the light, with the exception of this bad boy right here. So this is a leather finger. But yeah, everything else is doing well. Future plans for the tank, unless there's a really good steal on some coral that have pretty good size to them, kind of gonna hold off where I am now. And I just want to get used to the Vipar Spectra lighting. Oh, there they go, turning to blue. Look at that, timed almost perfectly. So just gonna kind of try and hold it off there and get used to this lighting system so I can, you know, not kill the next batch of corals, or bleach, I should say, not bleach the next batch of corals that come into this tank, because, yeah, you know, no one likes to invest into corals that you kill. Plus, I feel bad every time it happens. But the fish are doing well. The clowns are starting to grow up. They're no longer super microscopic, but they're still pretty small. I was hoping that they'd grow up a little bit faster, seeing they have a 90 gallon to kind of explore around in. The firefish is doing okay. I know it's a little blue, so it's kind of hard to see. I'm sorry, but they're all well fed. You know, I didn't come in the house and feed them. This is how they are in terms of how much they've eaten over the break. So I'm happy with the feeder. I'm not sure where my other fish went, but he's doing okay. So anyways, guys, that is a tank update. I don't think I have much else to add to that, outside of the fact that I did stop running my light on my sump, because I know it's beneficial to run the sump light separate when the tank light is off. But I just wanted to give the water column a chance to rest, especially with all the green algae that I've been having. I haven't had diatom blooms or anything. I know my tank is cycled. I know I'm not replacing too much water per week, but yeah, the one thing that does drive me a little annoying, or you know, drives me a little crazy about this tank is the sound. You know, I did used to run the sump at a medium setting, or a setting where, you know, the overflows would kind of quietly take in water. Now I've got it to max just because I'm trying to get rid of the green hair algae, and I just wanted to increase filtration and all that. So I've got a pretty good amount of flow coming out of the return nozzle now that you can kind of see, you know, in addition to the little flue pump I have here, and the wave maker I have on this side, which should still be running. Yes, it's still running. So that's that, guys. If you have any questions, I'll let you look at these semi-bleached out torches. These are the last of my flowing corals, so we'll see how they go. But yeah, any questions, let me know. Everything's going good here. Like I said, I'm back to running on my 2 heaters down there, and we'll do a little update here in a couple weeks, or however long I think it takes before I have something new to show you guys. But that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and if you need me, let me know. Peace.